Hi, Paul Slakis. Good News Broadcast, Good News Planet, Pause the World for Peace. It's the 106th, this is magnificent, anniversary of the soldiers who solved the military's most challenging problems. We're going to talk to the first black command chief warrant officer in the history of the United States Army Reserve Command. We're so fortunate to be able to speak today to Chief Warrant Officer 5, LaShawn White, Command Chief Warrant Officer of the U.S. Army Reserve Command. How are you today, sir?
Sir, I am doing fabulous. It's a wonderful day here in the D.C. area, and it's great to be here, sir.
It says here it's one of the most important positions in the U.S. Army Reserve. May possibly be one that many civilians have never heard of. I think I've heard of the word warrant officer, but I don't know where I heard it. Whether I don't remember hearing of it in the Army Reserve or in any other military service. What is a warrant officer?
Well, our warrant officers are tactical leaders. You know, they're experts. They serve in multiple fields as technical experts, combat leaders, trainers, and advisors, not only to our junior soldiers, but our senior leaders as well. You know, our warrant officers are people who continuously educate themselves over intense training and make the expert integrators of emerging technologies, dynamic teachers, confident warfighters, and developers of specialized teams of soldiers. So, you know, this month, sir, that our warrant officers are celebrating its 106th anniversary. The Army Warrant Officer was first introduced in 1918, as you said, as mine planners. So a lot of people don't know the history of the mine planner service, but Congress added this service as part of the Coastal Artillery Corps in the defense because of the U-boats that were attacking the eastern coastlines during World War I. So even though it started out as a small group, today it's actually 40 unique occupational specialties. And some of these include logistics, you know, aviators, our intelligence field, engineering, special operations, and, you know, we have a lot more fields after that. But it's definitely a very intense and very grueling education process.
So it's not don't mind me, a warrant for your arrest. Somebody comes.
Absolutely not, sir. So you have.
I sometimes ask silly questions, but, you know, sometimes people just don't know. I can't say that I fully do myself. I mean, you're really talking about specialties here, aren't you?
Absolutely, sir. Yes, sir. So, you know, our warrant officer cohort is comprised of over 26,000 men and women of the active guard and reserve components, and, you know, and that makes up only 3% of the Army's strength. You know, and the key behind that is that our smaller numbers mean that warrant officers are highly trusted with their responsibilities from training soldiers to organizing and advising missions and advancing within their career specialties. So, and that's the key behind the warrant officer. You learn and you become integrated in a certain job function, and you learn that throughout your career, and you become an expert in that field. We might not be as large as the other ranks, but we're certainly as important part of the technical foundation of the Army and the Army Reserve.
I believe you've been involved with the Army Reserve for some years now, right? When did you start?
Absolutely, sir. I started in the Army Reserves in 1986, and I actually stayed in the Army Reserve for 2 years. So I stayed in the Army Reserve for 2 years before joining the active component. I joined the active component. I saw the world. I enjoyed a lot of things. And then I decided to come back to the Army Reserve. And one of the biggest reasons behind coming back to the Army Reserve is that I was able to look at other opportunities in other job fields. It opened the doors up. And it's not that you couldn't do that in the active component. It's just that the Army Reserve, because you're closer to home, and there's opportunities within closer to home that you can switch into those other job fields. You know, like a majority of Army Reserve warrant officers, you know, I began my career from advancing from an Army private into the sergeant ranks. I was initially driven by the educational benefits of the Army Reserve, but I fell in love with the camaraderie and the people who serve our great nation. So it's been a tremendous journey. I've gone around the world and I've seen a lot of things, and I've seen Germany, Egypt, Ireland, El Salvador. I've traveled through every state. Um, I've gotten a great appreciation for the job and what the job offers to a lot of people around the world.
What are some of the kind of the work? What are some of the kind of things you did when you would go? Let's stay with the Army Reserve. What are some of the kinds of things you do? I know you personally. You mentioned quite a few, 26 or so plus. Opportunities as a warrant officer. What are some of the ones you did that you like to do? Are you still doing?
Oh, well, I started in the Army Reserve as a machinist. And a lot of people were like, wow, a machinist. And yes, I actually started as a machinist. Then that led into my secondary of welding, and then I became a mechanic. And I actually was able to achieve 2 warrant officer ranks. One as a 914 Alpha, which is an Allied Trades warrant officer, and then the other as a 915, which is a senior automotive technician. So I was able to hone both skills, and that's hard to do. It's not rare. We have warrant officers who have multiple MOSs, but to be able to hone both skills, I found it maybe not as challenging as others because they're both in the ordnance branch, and I was able to work within those branches to be able to work simultaneously to achieve certain things. And in the Army Reserve, I've done things like go to Egypt and build hospitals and build schools. Oh yes, absolutely. And then in El Salvador, we actually went to El Salvador and built 3 schools and a hospital in the mountains. So it's rewarding and it's challenging. But I think that's what gives it that good flavor. The Army Reserve is giving you an opportunity to be near home, to continue to work near home if you want to be that part-time soldier. And during that part-time soldiering, you're actually able to do great humanitarian work and to get out and see the world. So I'm truly blessed to have had that opportunity.
That's great, and we appreciate you. I bet your family, friends, as well as yourself, to be the first Black Command Chief Warrant Officer in the history of the Army Reserve Command. Now, that's a big honor.
Sir, it is an absolute tremendous honor. As I go out and I talk to soldiers and I talk to people, they often ask me, what is it like? And I want them to understand that, it took years of hard work and dedication to get to this point. I've served in multiple Command Chief Warrant Officer positions, and, I was blessed to be selected by Lieutenant General Jody Daniels. She's a trailblazer in her own right. She became the first female commanding general of the Army Reserve. And so to be a trailblazer and to be selected by a trailblazer to continue to do great things for the Army Reserve is a tremendous opportunity. My family could not be more proud. And they let me know every day that they are very proud of the service that I've given to our country. And the Army has provided me great opportunities and been a great impact on my family. Yes, sir.
Well, CW5, LaShawn, we appreciate you tremendously. Let me ask you last questions. I know you got a lot of people to talk to. Where can our audience go to find more about a warrant officer cohort?
Oh, absolutely, sir. So to learn more about all the opportunities available in the Army Reserve, please visit usar.army.mil. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much. I'll ask one last question, if you don't mind. Can you kind of help me with my car? I need some help. Are you a good mechanic?
I'm definitely a good mechanic. It's strange that you would ask that. We were talking about that the other day. Mechanics, we can get in a conversation like anybody else. I think I replaced my first transmission with my great-grandfather at 12 years old. So being a mechanic, it's more than just, the military has honed my skills, but, my great-grandfather, he kind of laid the foundation. So it's great.
There you go. There you go. All right, and you better check that transmission. I think at 30,000 miles, something like that. I just took that drive safety course. Boy, what a course. All right, my friend. Thanks once again. We appreciate you. Bye-bye.